In this lesson, we're going to cover layouts in visual design. This isn't exclusively a Photoshop thing, but the software we'll be using is Photoshop. The first thing you need to learn is focal points, and it's the first point of visual stimulation given by your design. This can be triggered by elements such as intersections in the design or contrasting elements such as shapes. A good rule to remember is the rule of thirds used in photography, and you can use that in placement of your elements in design. So to have a more practical approach to what we're talking about, we're going to be opening up a design and just doing a little exercise. We are going to start off with a new document that's just 1080 by 1080p, pretty standard. If you've watched some of my older videos, you'll see how I set up my Photoshop to have it zoom in and out with your scroll wheel, all the preferences that you need to set before you actually get started. If you're really new to Photoshop, there are settings you need to tweak so that it performs better with your machine, just a better quality of life settings. Okay, so let's get started. First, we have a white background, and that's pretty much all this is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split it in half with the shape, and I'm just going to go draw a black rectangle. So it's slightly I'm not going to put it exactly, yeah, it's slightly beyond the halfway line. So now, because of the contrast, you see the white part is now brighter and the black part is darker, so visually we have visual contrast. So naturally, even if you zoom out, your eye will be more drawn to the white rectangle that we have left, and that's now your focal point. That's where your eye is drawn to the most. However, if we were to add another element, so this just goes to show how you can just switch around different focal points in your design. So it's really important to keep track of what you're adding. This is just an example of using high contrasting elements to create different focal points. So now that we have this, we've not only used the white as the focal point, but we've also added another thing on top of the white. So this round circle is now, so the black circle is now the new focal point. As you can see, your eye is just drawn to it because first you look at the white. So a good thing to practice is to always remember what works well with the other elements in your design. So if you were to have a high contrasting image, you would be wise to add something a bit darker. And I see a lot of people struggling with this, because that's how you see some people may end up using elements such as text that is that has a color that's closer to the background or another contrasting image that they want to work with. For example, if I were to use a dark gray text on this, and I wanted it to be prominent and that it was really crucial, and I wanted people to read this, I would not make it this color. It's not always about using your favorite color. So let's say I just change it and I feel like using a red, and then I just pick this and make it like this. It is striking, but most of the time you're not going to have the luxury of using high contrast such as these. You're going to probably have I don't know, maybe a brown background, and then you're going to put red text, and as you can see, it's pretty much being swallowed up by the background. So we're just going to undo that. Now what you would pick, depending on what style of design you're going for, a white text on black background is pretty high contrast. You can actually look at some of my other videos that talk about color so that you can see some other contrasting colors that you can use for your designs. I guarantee you it's not just black and white. Also, now you have a new challenge, which is your focal point has changed because of the size and weight of the elements on the screen. Before, we had the white and the black. Let me just turn these off. As you can see, when it's just the background, the white is a bit smaller, but it's high contrast and it attracts attention. But if you add this, still in the same zone as the white, so it's not really fighting for too much attention. It's easy for your eye to be drawn to it. But when you add something at the bottom that's almost similar in the size and weight of it, now your eyes is being pulled in two different directions. You don't know if to look at the circle first or read the text. So what you want to do is turn down the size of the thing that you don't want to be highlighted the most. You need a visual guide so that your eye follows what's on the screen accordingly. So if we make our text smaller and we place it somewhere near the bottom and we zoom out, now you can just see your eye is drawn first to the white and the black circle, the white background and the black circle, and then you read the text. And we can also make an opposite of this and make a white circle and put the text here and make it black. Now I'm not going to change the size of the text. I'll just make the circle bigger, just so you can see the significance of changing the size of things while manipulating the use of high contrast elements in your design. So you have this white circle, which is like a very clear focal point, and then it leads into the text that's now black. So how you place these images also determines how the viewer is going to follow. So naturally there is going to be the visual stimuli starts from the bottom and going up, because that's where the image is mostly centered around. That's where your focal point is. Had it been at the top, the viewer will be seeing the circle that was there, the black one, going down to the text that we have placed here. So you can place the in order of importance all your elements based on what you want the viewer to see first, and then second, and then third. But you can't place them all at once in one place. For example, you putting your text here and then you make it big and you think, okay, this is important, I want people to know what this is. Maybe it's a date or it's a venue, and then you would put maybe, and this will be your photo, and you want people to see the face of who is performing. And then let's just make a copy of this. This would also be your date, and this will be the name of the band. So now you have very competing things and your focal point is all over the place. Let's just make the circle bigger. This is something I see a lot of designers doing, and this thing tends to carry over. Now we have this isn't even the worst of it. I see a lot of people then do something similar to this, where they just feel the need to fill up space all over the design. There's no room for the design to breathe, so you have competing elements. So now you can see everything is almost filled out. Fortunately, we have all this space on the sides of the circle. So this is an example of what not to do. You should not have a design like this. Okay, I was just trying to snap it there. I'm just going to move it with my keyboard. But yeah, so there's very conflicting focal points in this design. However, you know, it's design, it's subjective. You can, if you like it, if you're into it, but I would recommend for you to have one focal point, and then everything else just supports that one point. There are going to be further lessons in the future about design, but if you can just rewatch this video, take it all in, just you know, just take all the lessons in and keep practicing. And then if you have any questions, yeah, just let me know. You can say leave a comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel for future lessons, and then you will be on your way to learning Photoshop in a really short time. I'll try to upload more frequently. Some of these videos are just there, they need editing, but yeah. So this is what you're going to be learning as far as like focal points, and that's really important. I highly recommend you just Google, do a quick search on rule of thirds. It's going to come in handy, even though it's a photography thing. It's going to come in handy when you're doing layouts. I'm going to be doing intermediate layouts for people who have been doing design for a bit, who actually have a grasp on some of these concepts. However, that's going to be coming much later, because I want to cover the beginner series first, so that everybody moves at the same pace. Or if you are new to the channel, you should just go through the beginner video guide, which I will be uploading as a playlist. So yeah, thank you, and remember to tune in next time.